And now a little story from the apple seed.
Thank you so much. I think my mother has been reincarnated as a cat. My mother did not like cats. It would be fair to say my mother hated cats. If she saw a cat, if somebody mentioned the word cat, she would go as if just thinking about a cat could make cat hair leap into her mouth. We never had a cat when I was growing up. We never had any kind of pet when I was growing up. My mother would say, pets? Pets require time, food, money, attention. There are 4 children in this house who need time, food, money, attention. What do we need with a pet? So no gerbils, no hamsters, no goldfish, no parakeets, no dogs, no cats. I think my mother hated cats most of all. And now I think she's come back as one. My mother spent the last 8 months of her life living in my house under hospice care. 2 years before that happened, she had left her lifetime home in Pennsylvania to move at the age of 83, to move to Birmingham, Alabama, to live closer to me. And when she got to town, we found her a sweet little house not too far from where I live. She loved that house. It had a fireplace, a skylight, a shady patio. She loved living there, was so happy there for 2 years. And then out of the blue came this terrible diagnosis. And when she came out of the hospital, she did not need to be in that little house by herself as much as she loved living there. And so she moved into my house. We took the front bedroom that had always been my office and made that her room, moved in her armchair, her desk, her television. We put the hospital bed along the big long wall with a big window so that she could look out at the porch swing behind the window, see the trees behind the swing, the sun behind the trees. Every morning when I would wake up, I would look down that hallway toward that window. She would always be up before me. No matter what time I got up, no matter how early it was, she was always already awake, sitting up, eyes bright, looking right at me, ready to start the day. The window behind her, the swing behind the window, the trees behind the swing, the sun behind the trees. As we kind of settled into our new routine, I wanted her days to be just as normal as possible. And so I would leave her most of the day to herself. She had her desk and her stationery. She could write letters back to her friends in Pennsylvania. She could phone her new buddies in Birmingham. She could watch Jeopardy and reruns of Murder, She Wrote. I thought things were working out great. Me doing what I needed to do in my part of the house, and her spending her days pretty much the way she would have spent them if she was still back in that little house that she liked so much. And then one day she said to me, I need you to spend more time with me. She said, I know we have meals together, and every now and then you'll watch a movie with me, but I need us to spend more time that's just us, just together. It wasn't said in an angry kind of way or accusing way or a demanding way or whiny kind of way. It was just sort of matter of fact, just kind of, here's some information, might be of some use to you. If you can do something with it, great. If not, that's okay too. I need you to spend more time with me. I was astonished. I was stunned. I mean, my mother was so independent, so curious about everything, so perfectly capable of entertaining herself. She read 2 newspapers a day. She always checked out a stack of books from the library. She kept up a lively correspondence with a raft of friends. But she wouldn't have said something like that if she didn't mean it. And so I tried to be more conscious about checking in on her now and then to see if she wanted to spend time together. Sometimes she didn't. I want to finish this letter to Aunt Eleanor, but sometimes she did. And if she did, we might play a great game of cribbage or finish up that morning's crossword puzzle. Or if it was a pretty day, we might go sit in the white Adirondack chairs out in the yard, sit there and look at the trees and the birds. Sometimes we'd sit out there and she'd tell me stories, family stories. She told me about her grandmother, my great-grandmother, who was a midwife in the 1930s and wore her hair pulled up tight into a bun right on top of her head, the secret, old world, Eastern European symbol of her illegal midwifing profession. And so the women in the neighborhood would see the midwife topknot and know that they could call on her when they needed her help. Or she told me about her grandfather who lost a leg in an accident at the factory where he worked and had a wooden leg that itched and scratched. And on hot summer nights, he would go sit on the front porch steps and unhook that wooden leg and rub that stump. And when the neighborhood boys came around and gave him a hard time, he'd pick up that wooden leg and shake it at them to scare them away. I hadn't heard her tell those stories in a long time. Sometimes I would practice my stories on her. She liked the stories that had her in them. She said to me once, "I like who I am in your stories. But most of the time, we'd just be there, not doing anything special, not talking about deep, meaningful things. We were just there." I would love to tell you that I was always patient, always generous with my time and attention, but I was not. I was frequently fretful and anxious about emails I had to return and calls I had to make. I'm sure Mother sensed that, and though she never said anything directly about it, her calm, quiet presence seemed to say, "Work will wait, errands will wait. They will always be there. But the ones you love, the ones who love you, won't." So sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you need to just stop and be there with those you care about. It was months after she died before I was able to move my office back into that room, replace her pretty desk with my practical one, replace her flowered stationery with my reams of copy paper. But finally I did, and one November afternoon late, I was working back there. It was about maybe 6 months after she had died. I was working at the computer, and I heard someone knocking at the back. No, not knocking, pounding on the back door. Pound, 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 pound. I thought, gosh, 5:30 in the afternoon. It's kind of late for the UPS guy. I wasn't expecting anything. Pound, 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 pound. Well, I went to see what this was about. I have 2 back doors there in the kitchen. There's the inside door, it's wood on the bottom and glass on top, and then an all-glass storm door. I looked through the top glass. I didn't see anybody, but I could hear it. Pound, 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 pound. I opened the inside door, and there was a cat, a pure white cat, standing on his back legs and with his front paws just wailing on that storm door. Pound, 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 pound. As soon as he saw me, he sat back, looked up at me with these bright green eyes, as if to say, "It's your turn to take care of me now." It wasn't said in an accusing kind of way or a demanding kind of way or angry or whiny sort of way. It was just matter of fact, just kind of, "Here's some information that might be useful to you. If you can do something with it, great. If not, that's okay too. It's your turn to take care of me now." I'd seen this cat in the neighborhood for years. I mean, it is hard to miss a pure white stray cat. Everybody in the neighborhood knew him. I mean, the little girl across the street used to play with him all the time. She had these pastel-colored chalks, and she would make designs on the sidewalk in front of their house. One day, the white cat came and rolled around in her artwork and then walked off looking like a walking ball of cotton candy at the county fair, all pink and blue and yellow and green. But that little girl and her family had moved to Illinois a few years ago. And then the white cat had taken up with Jason and Casey. They lived on that side of me. And Jason and Casey had 3 cats of their own. So they just pretty much left out this all-day, all-you-can-eat cat food buffet in the backyard. And you'd usually find the white cat there. But Jason and Casey had just moved to Nashville 2 weeks earlier and had not taken the white cat with them. And whatever other plan that cat had to charm his way into some new meal ticket had not worked out. And he was stuck with plan B. Me. I didn't know anything about cats except how hairy they are. But it was November. It was getting cold, getting dark, getting late. Those green eyes said, "Feed me." So I did. There was a can of tuna in the pantry. I raked it into a bowl with a chip on the lip, took it outside. Quick licks of that pink tongue, that tuna fish was gone, and moments later, tail in the air, so was the cat. That was our first encounter. He was back for breakfast, back for supper, back for breakfast, back for supper. And after about a week, I guess once he decided I was trainable, he kind of moved in, not into the house. He wouldn't come in the house. "Oh, don't fence me in, baby." He wouldn't go near the $27 cat cave I bought for him. Oh, no. But my backyard was his estate. And I got in the habit of kind of looking for him. He would eat at the back door. He would sleep on the front porch swing. Every morning, I'd wake up, I'd look down toward that window. He would always be up before me. No matter how early I got up, he was always already awake, sitting up there on the swing, eyes bright, looking back at me, ready to start his day. The swing behind the window, the trees behind the swing, the sun behind the... There was something really familiar about this. This was just like my mother. Had my mother come back as a cat? Well, as I said, the cat kind of took over the whole outside yard, and every now and then I would check in on him, see if he wanted attention, wanted some company. Sometimes he didn't. I mean, there were squirrels and lizards way more entertaining than I was. But sometimes he did. And if he did, I might go sit in the white Adirondack chairs there in the yard. He'd jump in my lap. We'd look at the trees and the birds. He was a lot more interested in the birds than the trees. Sometimes I'd practice my stories on him. I practiced this story on him. I guess he liked it okay. I mean, he didn't jump off my lap and run away. Maybe he likes who he is in my stories. My sisters just roll their eyes when I say I've been sitting with the cat. Don't you have anything more important to do? Well, yes and no. Because what if it really is my mother? I know, it can't be. Can it? No. But the cat's independence and curiosity reminds me so much of her, makes her feel so present, so close. And if her bright spirit still wants to spend more time with me, how lucky I am to be able to do that. The cat's calm, quiet presence reminds me, just as hers did, that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you need to just stop and just be there with those you care about, because work will wait, errands will wait, they will always be there. But the ones you love, the ones who love you, the ones who come pounding on your door, wanting you to spend time with them, won't. Unless, like my mother, they get 8 more lives by being reincarnated as a cat.
Thanks for joining us for a little story from the Appleseed.